Okay, Nav System then. This is actually quite good. I think it's powered by Google, and sometimes in the background you see it doing some map updates. You get a little notification. It's got a built-in 4G SIM card. It downloads latest updates for the mapping, but not car software as far as I know. And it's a pretty good system. So I'm going to pop a destination in and I'll show you what it does. So if you press search, it gives you a search window. It brings up previous destinations. Most of those are chargers that we were using on our last ski trip. You've got a keypad there, or you can put it in and then you can just start typing in, and it brings up stuff for various options. So it's quite a clever system. So I've popped in a destination, which I know is a long way away from down here on the south coast, and it just draws out your route and it's all ready to go. But it only gives you the one route at this point, whereas other sat navs I've used in cars, they'll bring up multiple map options and you get to choose at this point. And now, having told it to start, it knows that I can't get there because I've only got about 35% battery right now and it's 350 miles away. So I don't think any electric car is going to get up there without charging from that. So I can tell it to put things in and it starts working out my recharge options on the way. As you see, it's brought up a list there of chargers and it's done quite a nice job. It actually picks out some fast ones with reasonable distances between them, but it doesn't always do that. Sometimes it'll put a 50 kilowatt charger in when you could have access to a charger that's 150 or more, and as this car can charge at 150 kilowatts, it's usually the better option to stop at those faster ones. As you can see, it's put the charging stops in and it's got a reasonable idea. If I now click at the tour plan, it shows me how much charge I'm going to get at each charging station and at destination. So that's quite clever, although sometimes it'll want to charge to 95% and get me to destination with a lot more charge, even though I might have access to chargers at the destination. So it's good, but it could be better. So for demonstration purposes, I've just popped a different route in. You can see the range ring there quite nicely. You can see the time of arrival and the miles to the first fuel stop, or rather recharge stop, marked on there rather than time at destination. That'll be up elsewhere on the system. And now if I bring up the alternative routes, you might get a slightly better choice just to demonstrate what's going on with that. So again, you can see the different ones. If I press info, it gives me the time and the mileage, but it doesn't give me the battery percentage, and it would be really nice to know the battery percentage. Okay, some things on the software for the car aren't so great, and this one just popped up, so I thought I would show you. This comes up a lot. It's saying the individual settings have been updated. Do I want to apply these settings in the vehicle? I can either ditch the settings or apply them. So that comes up a lot, that warning. That's the first time I've ignored it. I normally tell it to apply and then it has to reboot the whole MMI thing, which does need kind of occasional reboots, probably about every 3 weeks or so. Something's not quite right on it and I need to reboot that. So a few software things could be better, and like I said, sung the praises of the virtual cockpit. I've got some other bits about that I'm really not keen on that I'll show you. Just want to show you a couple of bits on the virtual cockpit. Please excuse the reflection. As you can see, I've got small instruments up now with some extra information. Got the sat nav display up. I can just flip across between modes, radio, that kind of thing, and some other kind of range and efficiency information on the car, which is quite nice. Or I can bring up larger instruments and condense the data. So it's all quite good. I do love having the sat nav up on this bit. I think that works really quite nicely, and it does give up next turn information and other bits and pieces like that. You can see the sat nav is up. That's really nice. You get turn by turn instructions and things like that. This left hand dial though, I mean, it could be done slightly better, and it would only be a software fix on the car to improve things. So in the middle it says 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and underneath that is the arrow pointing at 2.3 on a scale of 0 up to somewhere in the mid-20s. That scale of 0 to 20 something is utterly useless. When you're dealing with efficiency numbers nearly always between 2 and 3, there's no point in putting them on a scale of 0 to 23. You just can't tell where the arrow is. So that's pretty useless. On the left, where it says ready, that's the needle that says either I'm drawing power from the battery, or if it goes down, it shows where I'm recharging. That's really nice. And the green band extends down to where I can get my maximum regeneration. If my battery's nearly full, that green band doesn't extend as far down. That's really good. But dominating that display is the 0 to 100%. That's not my battery. That's how much power is available to me. And if I want to pop the car into drive mode and then into boost mode, again, it shows that I've got the full 400 kilowatt or 300 kilowatts, 400 horsepower power available to me. But that's kind of nearly always there. It's only on the last 20 miles or so of range that starts reducing. So that's an enormous bit of display that really, most of the time, you don't use. And if I popped it into sport boost mode, it'd be nice if it changed colour. If I put, the suspension into dynamic mode, the P or the D rather go into kind of dynamic and they turn red, but not that big green bit for the battery. And then my battery charge, you see a little battery symbol there, and it goes 0 to 100. Well, that's pretty small really for quite a big bit of information for when I'm driving. So this really could have been laid out quite a lot better. And if I go into range in the center, I've got different displays there. Let me bring up, okay, here we go. Long-term memory showing at 3, short-term memory at 2. When you're dealing with numbers between 2 and 3, rounding to whole numbers is not useful. This could be fixed with better software. It would make it a better car. I know it's trivial. I know it's kind of techie, geeky stuff. But this car came out in 2019. You can allow for things like that. But 3 years down the line after this car was launched, Audi really should have fixed this and made it slightly better. And again, that shows my available range, but it doesn't really put my charging stops or anything from the sat-nav information across into it. And if I do put a destination there, it puts a little finish flag in. But to have a tiny bit like that representing that kind of mileage, it's just not useful. And it could be. It just takes a bit of a software tweak to change the display a bit.